Well, it looks like Disney just confirmed that lightsabers are real. The artists on Dark Alliance tell us how they got metal with the look of the game. And I'm getting some serious Independence Day vibes from Chris Pratt's new movie. All that and the latest and everything cool today in The Rundown. Hey, welcome to The Rundown. May the 4th be with you, everybody. Happy Star Wars Day. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, and it's always a blast to bring you the latest and everything cool. Today's episode is going out to Nodding56, who says, all fired up for The Rundown. Thank you, Nodding56. Let's get started with the show. We've wanted one of these forever and ever since the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, presented the lightsaber. We've always wanted to be able to get one in our hands, and over the years we've had a variety of different types of toy lightsabers, but it looks like Disney is about to level up in a pretty impressive and massive way. Most impressive, as a matter of fact. Today they leaked out a little video showcasing that they've got a lightsaber that will actually come up out of the hilt and will make all of the lightsaber sounds, and it looks just absolutely phenomenal. They even got a perfect Rey representation on stage to showcase this. Now, the caveat with this lightsaber, well, there's probably a couple. It's probably going to cost a fortune. And it's not coming out until 2022, and you've got to go, I think, for the launch of it, which is probably going to sell out, because we're all going to be racing to get out of our pandemic cocoons and race to theme parks like Walt Disney World. You've got to go and stay at the Star Wars Hotel in Orlando, and then presumably there'll be something in California. But this will be the highly coveted device of 2022, I am predicting. I think every Star Wars nerd, of which there are a billion of us, is going to want to have one of these things. Look at how freaking amazing that. We've dreamt of a day like this. Yes, the saber itself isn't, impressively long. It doesn't look like, it's as big as some of the other sabers. Obviously, it sort of comes, it's retractable, so it comes out of the hilt. It's just so elegant, and it's an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. It just looks phenomenal. I want one of those. Can't wait to pick up a much more authentic lightsaber, but we do have a little bit of a wait. That comes out in 2022, and you've got to visit the nearest Disney theme park, I'm sure, and I'm sure they're going to be in short supply. But in case you didn't know, Star Wars Day is going on all day, and Disney Plus is celebrating with the launch of The Bad Batch, and it's a terrific show. I've watched a couple of the episodes already, and they've also got a bunch of other things. They are taking you to Star Wars biomes. They've got a Simpsons short sort of celebrating Star Wars as well. And, of course, you can watch all of the Star Wars episodes, all of the Clone Wars, all kinds of stuff. You can really have a blast on Disney Plus right now, celebrating all of the Star Wars love that you want. Let's switch from sort of the beatific gorgeousness of the Star Wars universe to something a little bit more heavy metal, shall we? The good folks over at Took Games today released a little developer's diary on a game that's coming up very soon. It's Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance, hitting all of the consoles, all the sort of, I think it's PlayStation, Xbox, PC, not the Switch, June 22nd. And what was pretty cool about this, we got to hear from a bunch of the different artists that work on the game, and they talked about the models, and they talked about sort of the character designs. They also mentioned the fact that Dungeons & Dragons has always had a really interesting, collection of artists and all kinds of influences, and it's very malleable, of course, right? Dungeons & Dragons is all about imagination. And what's really impressive about what they talked about is they had to kind of find their through line and what they wanted to present with this title, which is taking a lot of influence from previous video games, but also previous, Dungeons and Dragons lore books and art books and stuff. But they said that they went heavy metal with the look of it, and they wanted to kind of feel like some kind of crazy stage performance or stage show. And when you see some of this art, presented through these discussions, you really get a feel for that. You feel like Guar might be up on stage or something, or you can almost feel the head-banging music that is going to be playing throughout all of this. It looks really, really fun. It's an arcadey, accessible action role-playing experience with some D&D depth. I really hope that this comes together really well. I mean, they're a Canadian studio, so that they've got that in their corner for me at least. But it's clear that they're working their butts off to kind of honor the material and make something really fun, in spite of the fact that, we're getting a peek into each of these developers' homes. Like everybody that's in the video game industry, including yours truly, we're all in our basements and our living rooms trying to create stuff and get it out into the world. And I feel for all the developers that are out there. So we're going to know soon enough. It's a multiplayer action RPG set in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. It's a studio out of the Quebec area. And, for anybody that knows, especially the Montreal scene is just littered with incredibly talented developers. So hopefully Dark Alliance, the new Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance game, delivers when it hits the consoles and the PC next month. What I want to do now is I want to shift over to into the movie space, and Chris Pratt is going to be back on screens, but not as Star-Lord. Amazon Prime Video released a little bit of a teaser for a new Chris Pratt movie called The Tomorrow War, which is coming out very soon. July 2nd is the day. And what we get to see out of this little teaser, it's very short. We don't get to see too much. Chris Pratt has been all over his social media talking up this movie and how much effort has gone into it. But basically, we get to see a city devastated, the world devastated. There's an alien threat, which they don't show. They just hint at. But it's a very patriotic, I think the Star-Spangled Banner, a variation of that theme. That anthem is playing underneath the trailer. So right away, your mind goes to Independence Day. What's interesting to me, though, when I see the footage here is that Chris Pratt is really the only face that I kind of recognize. It's like they've put all of their eggs around Chris Pratt's star power, which is plentiful. The guy is fantastic on screen. But it's not like it's not like Independence Day where there were lots of faces where you would go, oh, I know that person, I know that person. There was a bit of a Towering Inferno kind of vibe to it. But hopefully it's action-packed. Every action movie that's out there right now is pulling from John Wick, so I expect there's going to be some John Wick / Deadpool type action elements in this. And hopefully the aliens are cool, right? A lot rests on the ability to create CG and, cool practical effects around the aliens. If we believe in them, I think that Tomorrow War could be a lot of fun. It's hitting Amazon. Obviously, this was probably going to be most likely going to be a theatrical release for the summertime, which is a perfect time, July 2nd, right before Independence Day. But of course, because of the pandemic, Paramount, who I think is making the movie, did the deal with Amazon. So any Amazon Prime Video subscribers out there will be able to watch The Tomorrow War very soon. And let's hope for all of our sakes that it's a lot of fun and some great summertime escapism. Okay, I wanted to talk about a couple of other things that I spotted today, and one of them is very interesting concerning our friends over at Insomniac, and this comes from a couple of sites on the internet that were referencing Nibelian, a user on Twitter named Nibelian, who talks about the trademark for Sunset Overdrive has been registered by Sony, and those paying attention out there know that Sunset Overdrive was a game published by Microsoft as the Xbox One was coming to market. So it's been out there for a little while. It's hit the PC as well. It's a tongue-in-cheek kind of gross take on the zombie subculture in video games, the subgenre, but from the vantage point of the developers of Ratchet and Clank. So it's an incredibly accessible but also really deep action experience. I mean, you cruise around inside of an open world environment, taking care of all kinds of mutations that come in a variety of different forms. You also deal with a lot of annoying people that live in this world that seems to have deserved this disgusting threat that they are facing in some ways. But the weaponry is crazy, and the animations and the action in the game are crazy. Obviously, a lot of learnings from this game went into Spider-Man and into more recent Ratchet and Clank games. And it was a big deal when Insomniac went and worked with Microsoft because they had been working with Sony for so long. So this was very interesting, and it will, of course, be incredibly interesting if, because Insomniac is now owned by Sony, if Sony has said, we like this IP, we think we can do something with it, and if you guys want to do it, you can do it. And apparently, one of the people that was at Insomniac, I don't have his name at the tip of my tongue here, but had worked with Microsoft and then has recently gone back to Insomniac, and I think he was the director on that game. You guys will probably tell me in the chat there. So who knows? We might be getting a new Sunset Overdrive title. We may get a re-release of the original game for the PlayStation platforms. I mean, I think that would be a little bit of Sony kind of rubbing it in Microsoft's face after the MLB The Show 21 appears on Xbox platforms. I think that'd be pretty funny. But who knows, man? We might get a sequel. And I keep saying, I think this purchase of Insomniac as a studio is the smartest thing that Sony has ever done. And I've got one more thing to tell you about, and this might not be the greatest news for a lot of people out there. We know that Spider-Man No Way Home is coming out. All we've seen so far of this movie is this little teaser hint at what the movie is going to be called, making fun of Tom Holland spoiling everything. And all of what we know about Spider-Man No Way Home has been full-on conjecture. We know that it's going to be tied to the next Doctor Strange movie. What is it? The Multiverse of Madness? I think that's right. Madness of Multiverse. And we know that there's going to be what we have started to understand about this film, because all kinds of previous actors from previous Spider-Man films and universes are going to be a part of this, is that there's going to be some familiar faces, like J.K. Simmons showing up in Far From Home, the last Spider-Man movie. It's like an extrapolation on that. And so there's been a lot of conjecture that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be suiting up as Spider-Men again, reprising their roles in the new Spider-Man 3. But today, Andrew Garfield was on Josh Horowitz's podcast. It's called Happy, Sad, Confused. And this is a movie reporter that's worked with MTV for years. He's terrific. I'm a fan of Josh. And he's obviously got these great relationships with a lot of performers because he's been talking to them for years. And on his podcast, Andrew Garfield basically said, people need to chill. I have not received a phone call. I don't know anything about this. I'm not going to be. He didn't out and out say that. And he's an actor, so you never can really trust these actors. They're sneaky people. But he's basically denying that he's got anything to do with Spider-Man No Way Home, and he's incredibly convincing. I watched the little clip that Josh tweeted out there, and I don't know, man. I came away feeling like, oh, man, are they not doing that? Because, of course, everybody that's been enjoying the Spider-Man movies for the most part since Sony started making them, I think there's a little bit of excitement and a little expectation that we're going to be pulling on all those threads and seeing all of these different characters in there. We know that Alfred Molina's in the movie in No Way Home, and we know that Jamie Foxx is in the movie. And it'll be strange if Tobey Maguire's in the movie and then Andrew Garfield isn't in the movie. But maybe that's the way that they're going to go. And what's also interesting is that Sam Raimi is directing the Multiverse of Madness, the next Doctor Strange film. And of course, he had an excellent run with Spider-Man with Sony not too long ago. So it's all kind of in the family. Anyways, Andrew Garfield may not be in this next Spider-Man movie, and that is burning up the internet right now, even though it's supposed to be Star Wars Day. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for the rundown today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow with a fresh one for you, so please come back for that. Thank you to everybody out there that's subscribing to this channel. Thanks for hitting that little bell to be notified when we put new videos up there. And thank you, of course, to all of our EPN members. We'll see you tomorrow, and until then, play forever.